Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the latest episode of The Bad Batch. Um, in this episode we actually have the Bad Batch back on the island planet, kind of just waiting to hear from bounty hunter Fennec Chad, I believe, Shard, sorry, I'm trying to remember how to pronounce her name, so I do apologize, and they hear nothing from her. Well, the rest of the group is trying to basically live life on the island slash planet. They're trying to just wait for the results of things. Omega, on the other hand, was scouring the planet, and inside a cavern, the little dog creature was apparently having um, a scent go towards that area. And because of it, once he was able to smell it, he was then afraid of it. What we then find out, it was actually somebody there to take Omega. The rest of the Bad Batch shows up, and they see that it is Ventress. Ventress is apparently alive, sporting a nice little, I guess you would say, kind of like faux hawk type thing going on. It's kind of hard to explain the haircut. But anyway, she then is there to discuss what's going on and everything else. She explains that the M count is apparently those beings that have force abilities. So, because of this, Omega now thinks that she has a high M count, which would make her a Jedi to a certain degree. So, Ventress decides to do some tests to see if Omega actually has any skills with force using ability. So, the first test has to do with her standing on a slippery rock and keeping a apple, well, some sort of fruit, balanced on top of her head. She tries multiple times and unfortunately is unable to do so. Hunter and Wrecker are there to watch what's going on. Ventress is explaining to them that their presence there is one of the reasons why she's failing, in that she's being distracted by outside sources. They don't really want to hear that. So she then decides to end that training and state that the next test is to go is to be able to figure out a way to get all the way up to the top of the island, grab a white blossom on the willow tree, and bring it back here before sunset. Sunset had already started, so she didn't have much time. Omega then runs off. Now, it's unclear if this was an actual test or if it was something to distract her long enough for her to talk to the Bad Batch. So during this, the Bad Batch realizes that she's actually Ventress, a bounty hunter for the Separatists. That's when they try to attack her. She removes their weapons with her force abilities and begins to hand combat all three of them at once. And she's taking them out rather easily. So during this fight, she's flinging them around, kicking them down, beating them up. Then they start getting their weapons back, and they start opening fire at her. She takes out her lightsaber, which is now yellow, sorry, orange. Her lightsaber is orange, and she starts um, deflecting their blaster fire with ease. She continues to do so and then starts using the Force ability to take them all down. During this, we have Omega making it all the way up, grabbing a white blossom and bringing it down. When she gets back, she sees Hunter on the ground, being stepped on by Ventress, Crosshairs knocked into a wall, and Wrecker being force choked. Omega's trying to figure out what's going on, and Ventress is basically stating that they don't trust her, and obviously that this is pointless. So she drops him and everything else. So she offers to do a third and final test to see if Omega has force user abilities. The Bad Batch try to convince Omega to not do so, not even to get involved with Ventress anymore, and explaining all of her crimes that she has committed while she was part of the Separatists. And Omega, in her mind, states that if that were all true, and still the case, why would she let all of you live and not just kill you when she had the chance? And they kind of don't have an answer for her. So, Omega goes out on the ocean to go with Ventress to do their final test. And there's a little bit of joking going on in the sense of like um, Wrecker goes to look at her, look through the binoculars. Even though Ventress, I mean, even though Omega had stated that she did not want to be disturbed anymore, Ventress was able to sense that he was watching and he freaked out. But the third test was Omega supposedly feeling what's out there and bringing it towards her. And Omega's not feeling anything. She's not even sure what's going on. She's not even sure what she's supposed to feel. So because of that, she doesn't know if she's doing it right. So while this is going on, and she's just standing there kind of not figuring out what to do. And she finally just is ready to give up. Then that's when Ventress shows her what she's capable of. And she brings all of these like glowing fish to the boat area, but also brings a giant tentacle monster, which is how life works, right? So the tentacle monster starts attacking them. That's when the Bad Batch decides to get into the ship and go towards Omega to try to help her out. During this, they try to blast it and everything else. That doesn't seem to be stopping it. Ventress finally tells them to stop. They don't listen to her, but they listen to Omega. And that's when Ventress uses her force abilities to stop the creature and let it go back down to wherever it was. She gets back to, they get back to land. They start talking, and during this, she had done a test on Omega's blood, and she had stated that she doesn't have force abilities. So Omega leaves, and the Bad Batch is is knows she's lying, and they said she goes, "Yep, I am," but she'll not know which one. So figure that out on your own, and just know that one of two things would have happened. If she does have a high force ability, she'd need to be trained to get herself ready for the Empire to come after her. And Hunter was like, "That's not happening," and she goes, "Exactly. So therefore, you have to just be prepared to deal with when the Empire comes looking for her." And that's when Ventress leaves. And that, my friends, is the end of the episode. So I thought this was interesting. The idea of a clone potentially having force abilities. But I don't think that on its own was enough to really kind of make things the way they were. I think it's the fact that her body has the potential of increasing her M count, which then would make her one with nature. And in some sort of ways, it makes sense that she would be some sort of force user, even if on a very minuscule sense. I mean, her connection to understanding people is far greater than any other clone, and the fact that she's never been wrong about people either. That there is the chance of there being good in people. So it's not all that surprising. That being said, she's not anywhere powerful enough in like Ventress or anything like that. But the potential of her being a force user in general is there. And I think that's the big piece here. And I was definitely surprised by it. Overall, I like this episode. Love seeing Ventress, and also seeing her not be the bad guy is nice. Overall, I thought this episode was great. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments down below. Did you like it? Did you not? And why? And as always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe down below.